family, welcome to Mimi's house. Today we're going to be doing some baking and cooking. Specifically, we're going to make some biscuits. I hope you stick around to see how to do it. Okay, the first thing we need to do is preheat the oven here. So I'm going to go back here and we're going to preheat it to, you can go anywhere from 475 to 500, but this one I'm going to go on up to 500 and get it started. And one of the things you've got to do, you can use any pan, but you know me, I like to use the cast iron, and you've got to prepare your pan. I have just thrown some butter in there, maybe a tablespoon of butter, and put it in the oven while it's heating up and let the butter melt. But today I'm going to use my Crisco. And this is about one of the only things, I keep a little paper towel in there to grease my pans with. This is the only thing it's used for. I'm not using it to cook. I usually use it for greasing my cake pans or my pound cake pans, tube pans, and today it's going to be for this. And so I just take this little thing. It helps me not to get so greasy and messy, and I just take it around and make sure it's all covered good with the grease. I'm using a solid shortening. I have used lard. That's good. When you can get lard, that's something good too. But today we're just going to do this. And I put it back in there, and then this will go in the refrigerator. This I'll put over to the side so it'll be ready to bake. Then we're going to mix, and you know me, I'm going to throw it all together. Not really good at measuring, just I know how to do it and what looks right and what feels right. But today I'm going to try to measure things out for you. So we're going to start with some self-rising flour. And this one has the unbleached. You know that I mill my own flour, but today we're going to use store-bought flour. But I do like it unbleached. So I'm going to put about 2 cups in there. I might put a little bit more because I might maybe, because then we can have biscuits for breakfast in the morning too. So about 3 cups. We're going to use that. And then the next part is you got to have fat, and then to make the biscuits. So that I could put lard in there. I could put oil. Just, you know, I like to use the butter. I could have used this solid shortening here, but you've got to have fat in there. And you want your butter really cold. So what I'm doing is taking a stick of butter and slicing down it. So then it sees this cross here at the end, and it's sliced down. And then I'm going to take it and cut off a slice, and see they easily break into 4 little pieces. And then I'm going to bury them in there. And so while I'm doing that, I like to get it separated in there because the butter, and I'll shake it around and it covers up, and so it kind of coats that butter to help it not, I guess it keeps it from melting so fast when I'm not got it in the oven. And usually I'm doing a little bit more, maybe 3/4 of a stick of butter, which is 6 tablespoons of butter for what I've got here. So I've gotten to where I hadn't cut it, so I'm going to go ahead and cut those because I cut off a slice that hadn't been done. So I kind of shake my flour, you know, coat each piece of it. And then I do something that's called like butterflying. And what you do, you take the butter and you squeeze it between your fingers like that, and it kind of butterflies out. So I'll just do all that to get those hard pieces out. This takes a little bit of time. It's kind of enjoyable. But you're just taking it and running it between your fingers and getting the butter thinned out so it'll go throughout, incorporate into all of the flour. And you hear Peppermint, that's my dog. And you hear Peaches out back, that's my other dog. And they're talking to each other. This is a real home. So I just keep picking up pieces and making them smaller, feathering them out. Just doing like that with my fingers, and it's feathering them out. I hope y'all can see that good. How it feathers out into little pieces instead of square pieces. When you're doing this, you'll see that the texture of the flour's getting not as fluffy. It's getting more like cornmeal, kind of grainy. And that's because we're incorporating that butter all in here. And I'll show you the difference in the texture. And you don't want any big chunks. You want it equally distributed throughout the whole flour. Just kind of dig around in there. When the butter gets a temperature in there and starts to melt, it makes little crust, like flaky crust in there. And it makes your dough lighter, so it's not so compacted and like cornbread, I wouldn't do this to it so much. So it's more textural, more condensed or dense. I'm just about got it. I just want to make sure there's no big squares all through it. Okay, I'm going to let you try to see the little, it's just not as soft. You can see that it's soft, but it looks like it's got little texture to it. Okay, I think that's good enough. My next step, we're going to add some liquid to it. And with biscuits, always my favorite choice is the buttermilk. I'm going to shake it up. I make a little well inside, so it's got, you kind of dig out and make a little well within your bowl. You see how it is there. And in the center, I'll pour, I was going to measure that out. See, I've already done it. I'll probably have already put a cup of it in there. And whenever I use buttermilk, I always use a little bit of baking soda. Make sure it's not baking powder, it's baking soda. And I didn't get my utensil out. I'll get it now. And then I'm just going to incorporate it. Just go around and get it. And I can already tell that I'm going to have to add more buttermilk. It's absorbing it good. I was telling you that I do, reminding you that I do my own flour. And when you mill your own flour, that's probably another 1/4 of a cup I put in there. So right now we're probably at 1 1/4 cup. It takes longer to absorb the liquid that you put in there. But regular flour, you know, it absorbs it really quick, or store-bought flour. So you just have to just try to get it. When I get it there, you just stir it around. You can see how it's doing. I'm going to the bottom and getting that dry flour from the bottom. And I think I'm going to put a little bit more, just a tad. I'm just going to stir it up. And when you get this all incorporated good, we're going to put it down on the bench here on my table and begin to make them out. But first, to prepare my table, I'm going to have to put down some flour because we don't want it to stick to everything. Get that all incorporated. So can y'all see that good? Stir it all around. Okay. And I'm just going to get some flour here. I like a little bit so I can do my hands. And then I'm going to sprinkle it out. And that's also good to, I'm not going to roll these out. I'm going to cut them out with my cutter, so it's good to like have that there also. So I'm going to dump it out onto my work surface. I'm going to make a biscuit maker out of y'all yet. I grew up, my mom made biscuits several times a week, and ever since I was a little girl I was in there doing it. But the way I learned to make biscuits was through her, and we always rolled our biscuits in our hand and rolled them out, and that works too. I hadn't done it in years, but that's the way I used to do it when I was raising my family. So I'm just going to get this, and it's real soft. You can see how tender the dough is, and we're not going to work a whole lot with it. And I could right now just cut these out, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to fold them over. And that kind of puts layers in them. And you see how it's falling apart. That's quite all right, because it's going to all come together on the end. Just probably didn't get as much flour as I needed on them for my surface. Or my hands. Bring this back over there. Okay. And you just flatten them out. And I think that's about what size I want. And then I start cutting it. Now, this is real tender dough, so I'll bring this over and put it over here in a pile. I really needed to do my hands before I did this, because it's going to be sticky. I'll get a little bit more flour and put it right here so I can do my hands. And then I'll pick these up and I'll put them in the pan. And you don't mind the sides touching on this. Actually, it's better if they touch, because then they go up, make them rise more. Okay, we're going to have a pan full without even finishing them up, so I'll make another pan of these after I get these in. And our temperature oven is just about ready for them. So you can take these off. There we go. Get those done. And I'm gonna step off and wash my hands over here at the sink behind me. Okay, so I want to show you these biscuits, how they look. And then we're gonna put them in the oven. It's ready. And we'll be back in about, it takes about 18 to 20 minutes. And we'll be back with some biscuits. Well, I'm back. I know I said I'd have some fresh biscuits for you, but they're not quite ready. And I had enough to make a few more biscuits. So one of the things I'd like to show you, you see how you can see the layers in these biscuits? When you fold them over like that, they kind of make layers. And another thing I should have told you is that when you're making your biscuits, go straight down and straight up. Don't twist them, because that'll seal the edges here and it won't let it rise as much. So I've got this other little pan here, and I just stuck a stick of butter in there and let it melt. So this one's got butter in it, so you'll see how that one comes out. And I'm gonna put these in there. And then I was going to show you, this was the dough that was left over. And I told you growing up that I rolled them out. So the way I would roll them out, I would cut my left hand, because I'm right-handed, in a little cup. And then I would use this thumb, and I would go around and around and around. And it's making it smooth on top. And it's putting all the little cracks and all down in the bottom. And then we'd press it like that. And see the bottom, it's like when you make bread, but it's, the cracks are down there. And put that in there. And I'm gonna put this in there with that other one and let them cook. So we'll have a lot of biscuits. See you later. I'm gonna clean up this mess and we'll be back with you. Okay, we're gonna go in here and we're gonna take a look at them. Move them around maybe. See, there's my small pan of them. They're risen so high. And I'm going to move them over to the right so I can get to these down here, because they might be ready. They're just about ready. I may be 2 minutes on those left, and those will be ready. They're looking good. Be back in a few minutes. Okay, they're smelling like they're ready. Let's give them another check. Definitely my big pan is. So there's that big pan. Let me look and see just how many more. We'll give that one about 3 more minutes. So we're going to get these out of the pan and we'll get back with you. Okay, we have both pans out of the oven. We're going to turn that off and come back over here to our biscuits. The way I like to take them off, the way my mom always took them off. Look at that bottom, how pretty and brown it is. So we take it and just flip them over. And one of the things that, one of the reasons she did that is because she would, see all those layers through there? You can just fill them up. As she buttered them, she would turn them over so she would know which ones she had buttered. And you see all that good steam coming off? We just break them apart. Ooh, they are hot still. Hot, hot, hot. Can't go wrong with biscuits. Hot biscuits. So there we go. We're going to take one of these biscuits. Let's put, you can stack these up here on those. Unlike bread, you can go ahead when the biscuits come out, cut them open. Slather you some butter. Nothing as good as butter. Close them back up. And you've got some good eating there. They're so light and tender and flaky. They're crispy on the bottom. So good. That's good. See how light and flaky they are? So good. Even without the jams, I can put jams on this, honey. I could put cane syrup. Maybe some of y'all like sorghum. I was raised in the deep south of Georgia, and we do the cane syrup. It's good. But good with gravy. Oh, how many biscuits have I sopped gravy with? Now that's some good eating there. So anyway, made these biscuits. Now I got to make the rest of the meal. I wonder what it's going to be. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.